Ah, the Bahamas, where the water is as blue as the Duchess's sapphire tiara and the sand as soft as the Earl's cashmere socks. The Exumas, a delightful cluster of over 300 keys and islands, provide the perfect playground for those of us with yachts and a penchant for turquoise waters. But please, darlings, it's pronounced keys, not K's. Mispronouncing it would be akin to wearing polyester at a garden party, utterly dreadful. Here, you'll discover secluded anchorages with waters so clear you could read a love letter through them. There's Norman's Cay, which has a thrilling bit of history as a former hideout for a rather notorious gentleman. It's now a charming spot for snorkeling, where you can pretend to be part of a glamorous underwater espionage operation. And do pop by the Thunderball Grotto, named after a James Bond movie. Honestly, the grotto is so full of colourful fish, it's like swimming through a rainbow. One could almost feel like the Queen herself, parading through her garden, only wetter. Ah, Italy, where they think they invented eating. Portofino is the epitome of Italian glamour, with its picturesque harbour that's filled to the brim with yachts belonging to the who's who of society. It's a bit like a parking lot for the rich and famous, only with more pizzazz and fewer tow trucks. You'll have to skillfully anchor here. But really, what's a little nautical manoeuvring among friends? Once moored, you can stroll along the cobbled streets, browsing the charming shops selling everything from linen shirts to that ghastly Venetian glassware no one actually wants. And naturally, indulge in a bowl of fresh pasta at a quaint little trattoria. The tomatoes here taste as if they've been kissed by the Tuscan sun itself, and the olive oil. They drizzle it on everything. One would think it was holy water. It's quite lovely, really. Olive oil on this, olive oil on that. It's practically Italy's answer to moisturizer. Phuket, darlings. And don't be cheeky about how it's pronounced. This gem in the Andaman Sea is perfect for those who fancy themselves adventurers, but don't want to compromise on comfort. The dramatic limestone cliffs rising from the emerald waters are simply marvelous. It's a place where one can feel a sense of daring, even while sipping a cocktail on deck. Quite the paradox. Phang Nga Bay is the place to anchor if you wish to explore stunning caves and lagoons, all while avoiding the crowds. Because, let's be honest, too many tourists are like too much garlic. Overwhelming. For the brave of heart, there's always rock climbing on those cliffs. Or for the more sensibly inclined, there's lounging aboard with a fresh fruit platter, letting the locals do the hard work. It's all about balance after all. Bora, Bora. A name so nice they named it twice. The lagoon here is protected by a barrier reef, making it a splendid spot to drop anchor without worrying about the sort of waves that could spill one's tea. The water is as clear as the gin in a well-made martini, perfect for swimming, snorkeling, or simply showing off your latest swimsuit to the fish. Now, you must try some of the local cuisine. Think vibrant, colourful dishes with fresh ingredients that would make any sensible person's mouth water. You know, fruits, herbs, maybe even some sort of grain if you're feeling daring. It's all very delicious, but if you're after something richer, do as the French do and find a lovely baguette. There's nothing quite like tearing into a crusty baguette while pretending to be terribly nonchalant about how effortlessly chic you are. The Whitsundays, darling, an archipelago of 74 islands smack dab in the heart of the Great Barrier Reef. Yes, it's that big coral thing the Australians are always banging on about. For the record, Australians are the sort who would tell you, "No worries, mate," after you've stepped on a sea urchin. Such a laid-back bunch. They're almost horizontal. Whitehaven Beach is a must. The sand here is so fine and white that it doesn't heat up in the sun. Quite considerate of it, really. It's perfect for a leisurely stroll, or simply lying about, pretending you're stranded on a deserted island, but in a glamorous sort of way. And the views from Hill Inlet, simply divine. Bring a picnic, perhaps some freshly baked bread, olives, and a bit of hummus. That's right, nothing says castaway chic like a well-packed picnic basket. Santorini, the glittering jewel of the Aegean Sea. Those whitewashed buildings with blue domes cascading down the cliffs look as if they've been plucked straight from a fairy tale. Anchor in the caldera, a stunning volcanic crater. It's all very dramatic, darling. One half expects a god or two to pop out from behind a rock, though let's keep it to the ancient variety, shall we? The modern ones are a bit much. When you tire of sunbathing or people watching, take a wander through the winding streets of Oyo. Indulge in a delightful meal of local specialties, perhaps something involving tomatoes, olives, and a splash of local herbs. Whatever you do, remember to look absolutely fabulous while doing it. Greek ruins may be ancient, but your look should be timeless. St. Barts, where the sea meets high fashion. It's like if the French Riviera had a love child with the Caribbean. The island is a delightful blend of elegance and nonchalance. Drop anchor at Colombier Beach, a secluded slice of heaven that's practically begging for a picnic or an impromptu photo shoot. When you're not busy sunning yourself, there are boutiques galore. Perfect for finding that one-of-a-kind piece you absolutely must have and will never wear again. And the local eateries, oh darling, prepare for a culinary delight. Imagine fresh baked bread, exotic fruits, and an ambience so relaxed it feels like the whole island is having a perpetual siesta. Svalbard, for the true adventurer who finds sun-soaked beaches a bit passé. Here in the Arctic Circle, you'll find towering glaciers, polar bears, yes, actual bears, darling, and more ice than a British gin and tonic. Anchoring in these chilly waters is not for the faint of heart, but it's perfect for those who enjoy telling tales of their bravery over dinner. While the dining options might be a bit, shall we say, rustic, there's a certain charm in foraging for berries, or just pretending you did while sipping hot chocolate on deck. Honestly, if one must endure the cold, one should at least have a warm beverage in hand. Two, Dubrovnik, Croatia. Dubrovnik, the pearl of the Adriatic. Now, there's a place that wears its history on its sleeve, or rather on its city walls. Anchor just outside the old town, and you'll have a front row seat to centuries of history without the bother of wearing a corset. The narrow cobblestone streets are perfect for wandering, preferably in the sort of wide-brimmed hat that makes people think you're either terribly important or slightly mad. Pause at a cafe, enjoy a simple salad or some fresh-baked bread with olive oil, and gaze out over the sparkling sea. And if you feel the need for a bit of exercise, take the cable car up Mount Cernod. Just don't forget to bring your camera. You'll want proof that you actually did something strenuous. Before we reveal our #1 spot, let's have a few honourable mentions for places that are almost as fabulous. The Maldives. For those who love overwater villas and waters that are as clear as a butler's crystal decanter. Vancouver Island, Canada. A touch of wilderness for those who fancy spotting orcas and dodging rain showers with equal enthusiasm. Cannes, France. For when you want to anchor your yacht and pretend you're a film star on holiday, just be sure to pack your largest sunglasses. Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. For the naturalists among you who like to get up close and personal with wildlife, without it getting too personal. And finally, Ibiza, the place where one can dance until dawn or, alternatively, find a quiet cove and pretend that the dancing until dawn nonsense is for the younger set. Anchor in a secluded bay away from the pulsating clubs, and you'll discover a different side of Ibiza, quiet, serene, and perfect for yoga on the deck. Not that I do yoga, mind you, too much bending and not enough sipping for my liking. The island's charm lies in its duality. Bohemian chic meets unapologetic hedonism. And the food? Divine. Think of wood-fired pizzas with fresh ingredients, enjoyed al fresco under the Mediterranean sun. Or perhaps a leisurely brunch with crusty bread, fresh tomatoes, and a drizzle of that fabulous olive oil. Truly a perfect end to a perfect list. And there you have it, darlings. The top 10 spots to anchor your yacht around the globe, where you can bask in the sun, swim in crystal waters, and casually flaunt your superior taste in anchoring locations. Whether you're a seasoned sailor or just someone who enjoys a good deckhand joke, there's a spot on this list for you. Should you feel inspired to plan your next great adventure, and really, why wouldn't you? Do peruse the links in the description. It supports the channel and, more importantly, keeps me in fine Earl Grey tea. Until next time, keep your anchor secure, your sails full, and your champagne chilled. Cheerio, my dears.